Hey everyone, the commentary you're about to watch is from the SC2GG Commentator Idol Finals. One of the two remaining contestants casted this game from Wednesday, February 18th from the OSL round of 16. After the game you will hear the opinions of Rise, Peanut, and Klazart. Our fourth judge, Tasteless, had some computer problems and will be sending us recordings of his opinions in the next few days, and you will hear them before the final voting, which closes on March 1st. Thanks and enjoy this video.
Good evening, everybody. All good things must come to an end, and yes, this will be my last cast for the SC2GG Commentator Idol. I have to thank every single one of you for bringing me to this stage in this competition. I just can't express my gratitude to everyone. We have what should be a very exciting game today between July and Stork. And I must say, if it is even half as cool as that introduction was, this will be an awesome game. We are in the round of 16 in the Group A of the OSL. Now, the two players, July and Stork, are obviously very well-known players, July being one of the craziest old-school Zergs of his day, and Stork being one of the more new-school, pretty crazy tosses, to be honest. He does tend to end up in second place a lot, but hey, getting second place is still getting a medal, so you gotta say that this guy is pretty much a beast. I have watched him play live as well, and I gotta say, he is just crazy, man. He is so meticulous in everything he does. Just a really all-around great player. So I expect and hope that on this map, Sin Chupeng Ryong, we'll have some amazing play. Now, what brought us here today, we had July losing to Bisu in the last round, and we had Stork actually beating Fake Yellow. So these two players coming in with a little bit different of energy, I'd have to say. July probably a little bit more down, but then again, he did lose to Bisu, who is like the best Protoss there is around right now. So, I mean, the Zerg Killer, why do they call him that? I mean, for obvious reasons. This is a two-player map, and it has some advantages for some different styles of play. Now, there are two kind of higher-level ground in the middle of this map, and that provides basically a way to keep your opponent within their base in some ways. Now, there is a side exit from their natural, so they are able to go around, but if you're able to stay on the high ground, it gives you a really big advantage, and I expect that to play at least some sort of factor in this game, because it always usually does. And wow, the aliens are invading Earth. Oh, it's just a Korean, never mind. Oh man, these guys wear some of the funniest costumes. I don't even know how they can go into public with those, but cool, good for them. We are, looks like, seeing an early expansion build from Stork, so nothing too crazy so far from him. And looking by the supply count as of right now, I would expect that July is probably going to go for a 12 hatch, but then again, we haven't seen his base yet, so he could be opting for a 9 pool or an overpool. We'll just have to see, but usually the timing, it looks like he might be going for a 12 hatch. Don't know quite yet, but we'll have to take a look at that, because that is actually very important as to what Stork does next, and it does look like he is going for the 12 hatch. So he's going to go for a more macro-intensive, mid to late game type build, which I have to agree with on this map, because this map is actually pretty nice for Zerg players for the most part. It does offer a third expansion, not really close, but in an area that's pretty easy to defend for the most part. One thing to mention in this matchup is that there are those two exits from the natural, the right out the front, and then to the side there's a little area in the back as well that you can do some harassment. So it is nice for lurker play if we do see lurker play there. But July's strategy tends to be lurkers, more late game, and then more of a Hydra heavy build. Now, we are seeing Stork putting down the Nexus first before the cannons. That's very smart, as he doesn't see any links coming anytime soon, as the pool's only about halfway done. So, very smart there, because he's going to want to save every little bit of money for an earlier Nexus and an earlier gateway to get just that much more advantage on his opponent. One thing to mention, though, is that it looks like July is going for a second expansion, a third base, which is usually meaning that he's going to go for the 3-hatch Spire into 5-hatch Hydraless build, which is really pretty standard for Zerg vs Protoss, but it does look like right now Stork is going to have a pretty good understanding of what he is doing, as he does have a probe that is scouting around in the base, pretty much every base of July. So really both players know kind of what they're doing, each other are doing right now, so it's going to be who can counter that better and really who can play it out better. I mean, it's going to come down to micro, macro, and wits, pure wits right now. So I'm really excited, actually. I think July has always been such a fun player to watch, and I know a whole bunch of people are going to say, oh, come on, Kenny, stop favoring one player over the other. Well, I gotta root for July, man, and just remember that even fat people need some love too, man. And July's going to be getting it from me today, and don't take that the wrong way. Please do not. Anyways, the probe is scouting the third hatchery down here, so I think that's going to change maybe what Stork's game plan is a little bit, knowing that he is going for that 5-hatch Hydra build right now. We haven't seen Stork's base yet. I'm interested to see if he's going to go for the Stargate into Citadel, Dark Templar, High Templar, or if he's going to go into more of a like Reaver heavy build. It's usually going to be a High Templar, Dark Templar type build, but sometimes you do see the Reavers come out from time to time, so you never know. But they're not showing us his base right now, and we don't see the Forge spinning yet. So we don't know if he's going for maybe an early timing attack. So really, both players are playing pretty standard, but we don't know exactly what they're doing right now. There is the Hydra Den going down for July, so just as we expected, we're going to see a lot of Hydras coming out from July right now. And it does look like so far he's only on 4 hatcheries, not 5 yet. So I do apologize, it's not quite a 5-hatch hatchery, or not a 5-hatch Hydra build, but he's probably going to move into that very shortly. What we really need to be looking at is that Forge going to spin. Is he going to go for that +1 timing attack, which is so deadly against most Zergs? I know even on iCup that's so deadly. And oh man, we have a dinosaur too. Dinosaurs and aliens. That is an interesting crowd so far. I have to say, not even kind of as crazy as those like Street Fighter crowd. I saw like a Korean Street Fighter match, and that was just crazy, man. Now we do see a couple more gateways going up right now, so it does look like he might be going for some sort of huge kind of timing attack, but again, we need to be watching for that Forge to see if the timing attack is going to be coming from Stork. The Corsair is out right now to harass Overlords and scout, so that's going to be huge as well. Now more Hydras moving up the map. It looks like July is going to go for some sort of early kind of pressure and contain, which is very smart actually. A lot of Zergs do this to kind of keep Protoss inside their base and really expand and just comfortably take a huge lead as far as economics go. Now it does look like the Forge was spinning, so the plan for Stork was a +1 timing attack. So this really could throw off his plan completely. I mean, that Forge is 100% going to die, and that really could throw this whole plan for a loop right now, because without that +1, it really is a huge deal, and a lot of pressure being put on the front right now of Stork by July. July really playing standard, but great so far. No legs, obviously, for the Zealots yet, so big advantage in July's favor so far, although we can't really say huge advantages yet, because no one's really lost anything crazy. Losing that Forge is kind of a bad thing to have happen this early, because that +1, like I said, is so huge in Protoss vs Zerg, as it does make you able to kill the Lings in 2 hits with those Zealots as opposed to 3, which, trust me, is a huge deal, especially when they're doing this type of build. Now, the Templar Archives is going up, so he's going to need to get those High Templars out, and the Dark Templars maybe to the harass expansions very certainly. Now, he does have leg speed done now, so he is moving out to push these Hydralisks away. That is a lot of speed Zealots, but also a lot of Hydralisks, so I think July is maybe going to try to meet forces here and then attack on high ground. That would be the smartest thing to do, but who knows what's coming, because that is a lot of speed Zealots. This could be very deadly, actually. July is going to need to be very careful right here. He is taking the high ground, and it looks like Stork is going to back off because he realizes that it is not the best idea to go ahead and fight a lot of Hydras that are on high ground. the robotics facility is going up for those observers and perhaps shuttles for late game harassment if it does so go into that. Aspire is going up for July Zerg, which means he could do one of two things. He could be going for Scourge just to kill these Corsairs, which I think would be the most likely thing, and to maybe move into a Lurker build and kill observers, or he could be going for some Mutalisks, which would completely throw off Stork altogether. I have to say, he's only got Zealots out on the map right now. He does have his Templar Archives down, but no Templars are out as of yet, which would really just throw him completely off if he moved out with some Mutalisks into that main. There's no cannons or anything at all. That would just be so crushing. But usually they're going to just put some Scourge out on the map. And wait, no, he is going Mutalisk. Oh my god, so he actually is going to go Muta build, and the main is not covered at all for this. So this could be extremely deadly. This could completely change the game around. I mean, the whole idea of fast expanding is to get this huge economic lead and really just macro over your opponent, but July has got Mutas out now, and his main is completely not ready for that, and you can see Stork already moving his probes and looking a little bit kind of dazzled by the fact that Mutalisks are coming in right now, a beautiful tech switch, and he's going to have to move all the probes out of his main, and now he's only running off of one base. This is a beautiful tech switch. July really using those the tech of the Spire smart there, because he realized that that could be a weakness of his opponent. Now, as you see, the Speed Zealots are moving across the map. Stork has a huge army. Will he take out this? We don't know. We have to see. Beautiful storm dodges, by the way, by those Mutas. And here comes the Leg Zealots. July is moving up his ramp. He's got to defend this attack. This is very important. Is he going to be able to hold this off? I don't know. He is bringing in drones. He's got Hydras. Everything is fighting. They're all joining the huge battle going on here at the natural expansion. And it looks like Stork's going to have to run away. He just doesn't have enough units to fight up that hill. And I think that July might have taken this game simply by building a few Mutalisks. That is just crazy how one little tech switch can just change the game around so quick, and really Stork just looks so out of place, man. He really just doesn't look like he's in a comfortable place, and I don't blame him at all, as our favorite Zerg is really moving in hard right now on the front of Stork with a ton of Hydras and Mutalisks. This could be the break that he's looking for right now. I don't even know if that Templar has enough energy to storm. I don't know how long it's been on the map, but that would be huge. He has plenty enough to break right now. This could be the game. This could be it right here. A very quick match, just a quick counter from July. Looks like he's going to push in. This could be it. Will Stork be able to hold this off? I don't think so. If he loses this expansion, this will be game. He won't be able to keep up with the intense macro that July can produce, and I think Stork may be GG'd here, folks. I don't think he's going to be able to hold on. This is just too many Hydralists. He's lost all his economy. He's losing his natural, and look at him. He's calm as ever. He knows he's got this in the bag. Move up into the base. GG! The game is over, and just like that, one quick little tech switch has won the game for July. Wow, I am impressed. That was actually much quicker than I thought it would be. This was looking more like a late game style, but hey, July was just playing smart as ever, like he always is. But hey, gotta hand it to Stork, as he did have some pretty impressive play as well. Now, I have to say, everyone, thank you again for everything. I mean, every judge that's been in this competition, for Cholera for putting it together, and of course, to you, the fans, who are the backbone of me ever having success in this competition to begin with. I really just can't express the gratitude. I mean, I really just want to keep saying it over and over again. Thank you so much. Really, that's about it, guys. It's been fun doing this whole competition. I hope you've enjoyed my work. I sure have enjoyed it altogether. And for the final time in this competition, I'm going to say, Kenny, out.
Alright, so our three judges here just watched Kenny's solo commentary of July versus Stork, and we're going to hear some comments and questions from them. Klazart, why don't you begin?
Hey Kenny, you were solid as always. You had a great tempo. I like the way your voice flows. I like the volume and everything, and the way you carry your excitement throughout the game. And overall, I thought it was a pretty solid commentary. But there were a few nitpicky things that I picked up just on watching it the one time through. Firstly, you talked about the last match for each of these players in the OSL, but you just did not at all mention the stakes. Not even at the end when the match was over. You didn't mention that July was 0-2 down, Stork was 1-1 down, and that a victory for for July would give him a chance to take this into a tiebreaker, assuming Bisu could beat Yarnak, nor did you mention that a victory for Stork would probably almost guarantee him qualification through to the next round. And I think that was, you know, in terms of setting the scene for the match, that was huge, and you kind of missed out on that. Your map analysis, as always, again, was great. Also, in terms of the technical stuff, I thought you were a little bit late on mentioning the High Templar support for the Zealots, because it took a long time. That the Templar archives were up for ages, and I was waiting for you to mention that he needed the High Templar support, or that, you know, the High Templar support might be coming. I think overall, probably your primary weakness is actually, again, your strength. You're so strong as a technical commentator that in the kind of middle areas where there isn't much happening, or we're waiting for the action to get started, you just fall back into trying to kind of give technical analysis, and you went into that 5 hatch into Spire, which didn't actually happen, I think. At least it didn't look like it happened to me initially. So it felt to me that you were kind of overly relying on the technical side of things rather than trying to provide a more well-rounded commentary.
Hi, Kenny. It was, as Klazart said, good commentary throughout. It did have a lot of excitement in it. However, sometimes, especially at the end, I felt like the excitement was a little bit overdone. I mean, when July Zerg had all those Hydras coming in at Stork's expansion, I was just sort of sitting there being like, yeah, the expansion's gonna go down, and you kept going on about, oh, you know, this could be the game, this could be the game. It was a foregone conclusion for me. For a little while, and so I just it was a little bit of a turnoff there. Let's see, other than that, okay, the fat joke, I know after that you said don't take this the wrong way. It still sort of left a bad taste in my mouth. I didn't care for it. Yeah, but pretty solid throughout.
Hey Kenny, how you doing? I actually thought that the fat joke was awesome. I am a fan of fat people in general. I do watch The Biggest Loser. They're very entertaining watching fatties run around trying to lose weight. And you know what they say? Fat people offer more cushion for the pushing, so it's all good in my book. Peanut, by the way, was grossly overweight when she was a child, and now she's just fighting back from those childhood memories that she's trying to keep repressed. So don't worry about those comments. Technically,
Rice,
your
why do you have
commentary
to bring
was
that up?
very strong. Technically, your commentary, again, was very, very strong, and I was actually very impressed with the extra knowledge I felt that you were given, especially considering the fact that the game was such a slow build-up. We saw a very early macro-intensive game, and definitely carried it through like you didn't have anything. You were never at a loss for words, which is always a key when you're in those types of matches, especially on something like Andromeda, where it's just always a freaking macro fest. So you did a great job with that, and you know, I thought you had some good color here and there. You were going to talk about Street Fighter, and I wanted to hear more about that at one point, but other than that, you know, I thought it was a pretty good job. The only thing that I thought you missed in the play-by-play was when the Muta were going in for the storm dodges back at the natural expansion of Stork, Stork actually stormed some of his own probes. I would have liked to have heard something about that, but other than that, you know, I thought the excitement was great. I thought the build-up to the end was fantastic. I am very much a over-the-top type of commentator myself in terms of excitement, even if there necessarily isn't that much. So I definitely enjoyed it myself, and good job to you.
Okay, any questions for Kenny at this point?
I have a question.
Yeah, go Peanut.
Alright, sorry, Klazart. So, yeah, actually something that I was thinking of when I was watching and listening to this commentary is that your style does seem rather Rise-ish. So I was wondering if that's sort of something that you recognize in yourself, or sort of unconscious, or do you watch a lot of Rise commentaries? Just wondering.
Well, I've actually watched a lot of Rise's commentaries. I wouldn't say that I developed my style exactly from Rise. I think that we are just similar individuals when it just comes down to it, and really that comes out in your commentaries. I think that he feels the same way about the kind of humor I do, and the kind of style and excitement I use. So I think maybe it just might be a personality thing, but overall I have to say I do watch a lot of his commentaries, and maybe subconsciously that does play a little bit into my commentaries.
Yeah, Kenny. I just want to say I don't want the fans to think that the fact that you throw in all this extra technical stuff is actually a bad thing. I think it's actually great. But I wanted to ask if you felt that maybe your commentary would overall be a little bit stronger if you kind of were able to throw a little bit of a few more different ingredients into it, especially in the kind of lull of the game.
Yeah, definitely. Of course, anything that I can add to make this kind of a final great recipe would always be excellent. I mean, I try not to focus too much on the technical aspects, but being a StarCraft player myself, I think I just sometimes I almost get engulfed in the action and what's going on, and I almost kind of just feel like I'm playing the game, and I'll find myself running off on a tangent explaining something that's going on. And I think that if I could learn to maybe make it a little bit more noob friendly, but at the same time still keep that competitive atmosphere, I'd do a lot better. So yeah, I think that there is some things I could always add to it to spice up and make it more of an overall better commentary.
Alright, I got one question for you. Do you like watching fat people in bikinis?
Well, I do like that one video where there's that like 600-pound chick in a bikini and she's like jumping up and down, but that's about the only one.
You think July would look good in a bikini?
Oh, good as ever, man.
I bet he's got pancake nipples.
Thank you, Rise, for that wonderful image.
All right.
Thank
Well,
you
that
very
being
much.
said, that concludes the question section. We're going to be moving on to
I'm
Tasteless'
sending you a bag of
comments.
my vomit, Rise.
It's moving on to Tasteless'
Fantastic.
comments right now. Thanks, judges.